Well, a bunch of burglars dressed like stereotypical burglars tried to burglar into Teddy Mellencamp's home. I think while she was not there, and thankfully, Edwin's beautiful security system at their home stopped those burglars in their tracks. It said, "Stop, stop. We see you on the cameras. Stop stealing." And they ran like hell out of there. So a huge win for Edwin's security system
Finally.
company after rumors that were swirling that he was the one who set up the security system for Dorit's house. We don't know if that's true. Is it? That's not. We don't know if that's true. Do we?
He did do it for Kyle's house when she got burgled to high heavens.
Oh my.
They took
Oh,
like
you're right.
every handbag and jewel she's ever had.
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. No, Dorit's has nothing to do with him. Edwin, that's not on you. Kyle's, where she got a bunch of her precious shit stolen. That was Edwin's security system. He said that there was, I remember his excuse. He said that I think that there was some issue with Mauricio didn't turn it on properly, or he forgot to flip a couple switches. So there was some reasonable doubt for Edwin on that one, but this one was a huge win for Teddy and Edwin. This one, you should see the footage. It shows these guys wearing the sort of what are those called? Burglar masks, and then burglar
like full hamburglar.
Total burglar, but big sacks ready to kind of get in there and steal. You could have filled their a full like big screen TV, Nintendo Switch, a bunch of stuff, and these guys or girls ran like hell once the burglar alarm started going off. And Edwin has he said that there's this new technology where you can hear a voice projected out really loud from the home, which kind of stops people dead in their tracks.
Yeah. I want to, my dad got me a, I don't know what you call it. It's a keychain that when you pull the loop out of the thing, it makes like a very loud siren sound. It's called a hootie.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I hope I never have to use it, but I also am curious if it would stun an attacker or they'd be like, what the fuck is that? Like, get out of here.
I have a couple questions. Does it starts to squeal,
Yeah,
and do you hear
very loud.
You hear the screech too?
Oh yeah, it's just like a portable alarm basically.
So you need to prepare for hearing that screech as well. But the benefit is, everyone hears a screeching. It doesn't say, what did you say it's called? It doesn't
Hootie.
scream. It doesn't scream hootie 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 over again. It has an
No, it's
actual
like-
alarm. Oh my God. I think first of all, it's sweet of your dad to give you that. Second of all, it's always good to have a hootie on you just in case, anything happens, some sort of crime is
when
attempted.
he heard that I was walking in my car after movies at the Egyptian, he was like, we need to get you a hootie ASAP.
Oh my God, good. I mean, I hope, obviously I hope you never have to pull the canister or pull the top off that hootie canister, but it's good to have, and I appreciate these new methods of keeping us all safe. Edwin's security system, hooties, and however, let us know how you keep yourself safe.
Do you have a hootie? Speaking of Edwin, did you see Eddington?
Oh my God! Wow, that was awesome. Wow, straight to the point. Yeah, I saw Eddington at 9:25 a.m. Yeah, let me think about that. Oh my God! I thought we were going to talk about the security system. I can't even. Let me wrap my brain around it. I absolutely loved Eddington in every way. You didn't see it yet, did you?
Not yet.
Okay, so I got permission to go out of my home at 9:30 a.m. on Sunday, and I went to the beautiful, beautiful Regal Cinemas next to me. I haven't been to a Regal in about 15 years, and first of all, I mean, that was one of the worst theater experiences of my life. They play like an
Pepsi
hour.
Theater.
Yeah, they play an hour and a half of actual commercials. It would be like the Red Band trailer for One Battle After Another, and then an Applebee's ad would play for like 6 minutes. And I was like, oh my God. I got there 5 minutes before the showing time, and I sat through an hour of ads. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It was Ari Aster would be like, he'd be like, I got to make another movie right now. They're playing Applebee's commercials in front of my movie. It would like inspire him. But anyway. Then once the movie started, I said, whoa. First of all, I give Ari Aster so much credit for making a movie that deals with 2020, that era already, and kind of putting his stamp, like, this is how I feel about that. Not a lot of directors would do a modern, like, retelling of an era that is very fraught. And he really, it's like, it was very uh I don't not brave, but it was very uh I think just a strong showing of him as a director that he was able to sort of make that leap and already kind of put his spin on what that was. And so that was, I like that too. And it was also a modern movie in a way where there's so much like technology and phones in it, which I know not a lot of directors, contemporary directors, like everyone is doing stuff in the past, like Wes Anderson and Paul Thomas Anderson, like, they won't make a contemporary movie because there's like cell phones in it. And this has so much modern technology in it that it's kind of interesting in that way too, for an auteur to be able to
Yeah.
use, cell phones and modern technology in a
Are
movie.
the social networks called what they're called, or they call something else?
No, they're all what they are,
Like
and
Instagram, they say Instagram
it,
and Twitter
pretty
and
much,
stuff.
yeah. And do you want to hear one quick spoiler that I'll make people skip
Sure.
15 seconds for? Just unless do you want to hear how they
Ari
deal
Aster is
with
behind you with a leaf blower, like, do not reveal, do not reveal.
he's gonna be pissed. So skip 15 minutes, but they actually he if you don't care what COVID is called, do you care?
Sure. Tell me.
Do you care? I
No,
don't have
tell
to
me.
say
We
it.
were talking about this.
Okay, it's just COVID.
Okay.
It's not, it's treated very much tonally. It's the most grounded movie he's ever made, but it's actually just as eccentric and crazy and wild and funny as any of his other movies. But like,
I
technically,
saw
it's in
that
our real
it's,
world.
from what I can tell, it seems like, as usual, the dial by the end is completely at 11.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's great. And I'm still sort of unpacking what it all means because it's very much, it's very politically charged. I
Sure.
mean, one of the most politically charged movies that you could ever have. And so I'm sort of wrapping my head around what he was trying to say with different aspects of it.
Yeah.
But overall, it's like Beau is Afraid, where it's like the worst case scenario of absolutely everything that could happen to you in life, except this is the worst case scenario for everything that can go wrong in a fraught political and divisive environment that's completely polarized. So it's the same kind of thing. And Walking Phoenix is amazing. The cast is amazing. It looks beautiful. Music is beautiful. Everything that makes an Ari Aster movie great is all there. I think people will be divided on whether or not they enjoy the overall message and what he's trying to say. That's like the one qualm, I would say.
Shorter than Beau is Afraid?
Little bit, 2 hours and 20. Still a little,
Okay.
still a little long, but I feel like it gets it's there at a quick pace. I never felt like it was too long, and there's kind of an epilogue, like a 15-minute epilogue at the end. That's kind of necessary.
Okay, cool. I'm excited.
Let me know. I
Yeah.
can't wait to hear what you think
Yeah, I'm
when you watch
excited to
it.
have something to gnaw on. I feel like, no, whether you like it or not, there's probably some thinking to be done about it.
Yeah. Let me know when you see it. We'll gnaw on it together because I want to be so heavily like with spoilers to really unpack it. So let me know once you see it. But I thought it was an amazing movie, and it kind of blows everything else I've seen out of the water, in a way. Just because I think that he is such a singular, filmmaker and the aesthetic and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Oh, all right. Edwin, Eddington, and then we had no other. We didn't really have any other news. Was there anything else you want to
Yeah,
talk about?
I was saying I listened to Luke Broderick on Viall Files, and I can't say there's much to report there. He really just is a normal guy. He talked about his baby having gas. He talked about, they're struggling to work out their sleep schedule and feeding schedule for the baby. And then basically the headline would be, I guess, that he does not fuck with Janet. He thinks she's like, would prefer not to be around her. And he said Viall hates all the men on the valley and was like, yeah, what about Jason? Because he doesn't have a backbone. And then Luke was like, I wouldn't say he doesn't have a backbone. I guess his backbone is just fused with Janet's backbone.
Whoa, that's what Luke said. Wow, that's
Yeah.
great. Wow, he doesn't. So he doesn't even like. Well, obviously, I assume he doesn't like Jesse, Nick Viall, but he doesn't like Jason. He doesn't like Danny because of, I guess, what, Dark Side Danny.
Yeah. But Luke did defend Jesse, saying that he's seen a lot of progress and that they're actually good friends now. He's like, when we first started out, I hated his guts. I wanted to kick his ass, as we recall, because they got in that shoving match or whatever. And he said that actually he really likes him and thinks he's made a lot of growth. And Viall was like, How so? Like, what steps has he taken to be a better man?
Oh, amazing! Oh, just hearing Nick sort of grapple with this sort of stuff really is so interesting to me.
I
I'm so proud
always
of him.
regret listening to that podcast. I'm always like, how is this like the number one podcast? It's just because their booker, whoever it is, God bless them, they get every single Bravo celebrity alive. So it's like you always have to listen if you want to get the tea, but the actual show is bad. Sorry.
Oh yeah, hey, I mean, I haven't watched it since I think the Tom Sandoval one or whatever. But it's like I think I always have a pause because I'm like I know that this is all just a complete fake enterprise that you all started at the height of COVID, and I don't even know what the hell Nick actually watches on any of these shows, who he actually knows. That's why I thought booking Luke is kind of funny. It's like you just have no fucking clue what's going on. You're like, that's a cast member on the Valley. I think I've seen him once, and it's like, yeah, you got Luke. Like I love Luke, but
Imagine
it's
if
like,
we interviewed him, how fucking boring it would be. Like, we'd be like, hey, how are you? And he'd be like, nice to meet you. And be like,
yeah. I mean, oh my God, yeah. But yeah, but still good on them. They're killing it with Bravo bookings. And
yeah. And then, happy book day to Sheena. I downloaded it this morning. It's only 6 hours. I don't know if we already discussed that. So
no,
I could potentially have listened to it by our next show because that's really not long at all.
I'll try to too. Yeah,
Or at least by next week.
Yeah, yeah. So that would have been released. That's amazing. I also I'm gonna get it from the library as well, and then I think we'll definitely support Sheena and purchase a copy too. But maybe we could start talking about that. I saw a lot of people. I was going through, and I saw a lot of people starting to dig in on Sheena's memoir, from what I could see.
Yeah,
So
it was today's episode of Celebrity Memoir Book Club. And I was like, I'm going to save that. I'll actually listen to it first, but then I'll listen to that after because I want to hear their tidbits.
amazing. Well, good. Well, good. Or anything else that you wanted to say before we hop into our recaps of the Valley season finale and the Next Gen
Do
NYC
you
finale?
want to talk about the Valley reunion trailer or should that be mixed in with our Valley? I mean, Valley will be the next thing we talk about. So just what did you think about the Valley reunion trailer? 3 parts.
Oh my God. I have to say that I thought it looked very good. I'm interested to see the dynamic between Jax and Brittany play out, also knowing that this is Jax taking a break and this is the final little glimpse we're going to see before he makes a decision to not be on the show anymore. I thought that was interesting. I liked them discussing, Janet, her being a fan is being called into question. I thought that was great as well. I don't know what struck you about the.
Frank Drebin mentioned by Andy.
Yeah, that was amazing. I was kind of surprised it's I don't know. I guess this just speaks to what I think of the overall season of the Valley, but I'm a little bit surprised that it was a 3-parter.
Me too. Yeah, I'm a little concerned. Although, like, the trailer looks better, I would say, than a lot of trailers for
Yeah.
reunions have looked. Like, it looks like a lot is covered. So I'm like, maybe it just turned out that there was enough to talk about. Like, Jax and Brittany will take up so much of it, I think.
Yeah,
And like the inner workings of their divorce and custody and whatever. The like salacious quote they use in it is like, she goes, I wouldn't touch his dirty dick with a 10-foot pole. And he goes, that's not what you said 4 months ago. And so I'm going to, again, need to be reminded of, so Kristen is quite pregnant. So when was that? Like 2 months ago or something, or that they filmed it. And it'll be interesting to watch it knowing that Jax is out and how he probably has no idea at this point.
yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, 1 part for the ring rumor gate, 1 part for Darkside Danny, and then 1 full part for Jackson Brittany.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I thought it looked better than I anticipated, but still a question mark on if it needed to be 3 parts.
Yeah, I have a question, I guess, talking about it now before we get into the finale discussion. But, I think we talked about this last week, but I really do not understand what happened with Schwartz and Sheena and Lala this season. Just the fact that I don't think they're not going to be featured at the reunion at all. We now know that they had absolutely no impact on the plot of the Valley as friend of cast members. And then I'm just like, and then I'm just interested to know their prominence on the after show. It just, I think that entire thing was sort of mishandled in a way,
Bungled.
or they were maybe just used to promote this season, but ultimately they had no impact here. I'm just
Yeah.
very surprised. I was thinking that, the entire episode, this entire finale as well. I was like, wow, that was what we got Lala, Sheena, and Schwartz for, were those
Right.
stray moments.
Yeah, it felt like maybe they thought they were headed in a direction that they were going to use them more, and they were like, "Oh yeah, let's get them in the after show." And then when you finish the season, you were like, they were on it like for a total of 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, seriously, yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I have hope that this will be, I think that this will be a great reunion. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, I could watch 45 minutes of Jax and Brittany distangling their relationship and the entire arc, but I think my only worry is that I ultimately I didn't think this season of The Valley was as good as season one, and I thought that it was really spotty in some
Mhm.
places. And I feel like overall, I think this thing, it was kind of completely overhyped for me, which I need to just stop listening to these declarations that this is like going to be the greatest season of reality television in history, like Alex Baskin said, or
Yeah.
when Andy Cohen touts Miami, that it's going to be the wildest thing you've ever seen in your life, which I'm fine with Miami, but I'm just like, I just
And
need to
Atlanta.
completely, yeah, I just need to completely just ignore that and have my expectations, just sort of, I don't know, middle of the road, because I was let down by this episode of The Valley. I thought it was a bad finale for a decent season. I
Yeah.
like,
I will say that the way Jax was acting on this finale episode made me glad that he's gone, because I was like, if he's gonna act like this,
oh
where
yeah,
he's just like trying to participate in the storylines, take down other guys to make himself look better, I was just like, this isn't even like classic. It is a
no,
little bit classic Jax, like in the sense that he wants to throw other people under the bus or whatever, but it was so lame and just like try hard, and everyone's like, what's wrong with you? And he's not smart enough to pull off like every time he opens his mouth in this episode, he says something wrong, or like just that doesn't make sense. And
yeah,
you're like, you're just like not good at this,
yeah.
actually.
Really, yeah. It's one of his worst. I think it's his worst performance as a reality television cast member in his entire run on
Yeah.
reality TV. He's so bad at it. I 100% agree with you. I was watching this. I was like, okay, yeah, fire this cast member. They suck. And it's like, it's Jax, one of the
Yeah.
most. He's given us so much throughout his run on reality television. I was like, this is awful. You pretending that you have some moral high ground on Danny is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life. And like you just said, he does not have the skills to properly segue his ire towards someone that he actually is not mad at. Really dumb, comes out of nowhere, pathetic.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to seeing Jax. I've seen Jax in every single light. I've never seen him just flop this bad as a cast member. It was like when Zach handed him his ass. That was a precursor to this. Danny's
Yeah.
basically handing him his ass in the scene. Danny's like a brick wall, being like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Jax?" Like, it's
Yeah.
it also goes against Jax's entire philosophy as a human being, which is that he who is not without sin cast thy first stone. He
Yeah.
commits the sin that he argues about in this very episode, the biggest
Yeah.
hypocrite you've ever seen in your life. So I think you're right. If we're judging him based off what he brought to this season, I'd be like, yeah, this person needs to cool off for a season, come back on season 4. But yeah, he
Yeah.
flopped like a fish this episode. But really, everyone kind of fucking flopped this. At that finale party was the worst embodiment of what a cast can do at a finale party. It was, they gave it the edit. We're talking about it early, but they gave it the edit where it was like, look at this stupid fight. Look at this shitty fight. This fight is really boring. This fight is boring too. And I was like, oh my God, the fact that the editors had to put these 6 different frames of these shitty fights all together to be like, yeah, this is a finale party. They were scrounging for anything that works. That was really bad. And this is a good cast. I could not believe that they whiffed it like this.
Yeah.
Bad, very bad, in my opinion. We'll
Um,
talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, so it starts out with a Lala scene, which we haven't gotten very many of. She has now given birth. It's all the girls meeting the new baby. Michelle says she has baby fever, looking at this little thing that she would like to procreate with Aaron. Um, and then Brittany gives them all an update about how she rang Jax a new one.
Yeah, she said she rang his bell. Jax was Jax was ringing after this one, and then they show the fight where she was ringing his bell. It was about the alimony stuff, and she goes, "You'd be so proud of me ringing his bell like that." She says, Jax says that he makes more than me, and Lala says, "I couldn't believe
She
this."
makes more than him.
Oh, right, sorry. Yeah, Jax accused Brittany of having more money than him. And Lala goes, well, that's because he spends all of his money on that stuff that goes up somebody's nose, cocaine. It's a full addiction, and you don't have the finances to support that coke use like before. And I thought, I was like, oh my God, Lala's saying it now. Like,
Yeah,
whoa,
it's
huge
out there.
accusation. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they talk about how she's not going to let Cruz go to that bachelor pad anytime soon, which comes up later. And then they get into Hawaii, and Brittany goes, that group, they just do not like you, Janet.
Yeah, and Janet they say it's just Kristen and Zach, but it's like no, it's Kristen and Zach, and then Nia and Danny hate you even worse than
Yeah.
Kristen and Zach. So it's like four people hate you and don't even like wouldn't even want to be around you. It's like pretty bad. I mean, half the cast just despises Janet and everything she stands for. And then Janet tries to do an iconic line. She was like, Kristen wanted to hit me at the boat, and I go, I would love for you to hit me because I would love for them to shove you in a jail cell and take the ring off your finger and put it in a baggie. And then I could look at you through the bars while you're in jail and you'd think about me every time while you're sitting, rotting in jail. And I was like, this is not cool or good. It's weird. Such a weird fantasy. And like, you want another cast member to go to jail for the night. And I could tell that Lala was like, looking at her like, are you sure you're going through with this extended metaphor about jail? Do you really like this? I mean, it's like it was just so, again, not iconic to me in any way,
Yeah.
and a true try at an iconic line for
I
Janet.
love how it's like the crowd has already turned against her, so there's nothing she can say that anyone would think is iconic. Like at the reunion, Auntie goes, "You fully transformed yourself. How did you do it?" And she goes, "Adderall and Pilates." And all the comments were like, "There's an Adderall shortage. How dare you?
Oh,
You fucking suck. Shut up, bitch."
yeah. I hope I hope I'm not participating in
No, but
that.
it's just like she really like wants she thinks that she has like the show and the ball like in the palm of her hand. Like
Yeah,
she's like, I am self-aware and understand the way this works and
totally.
I know how to play it. And it's like, well, obviously not because nobody enjoys you. Sorry.
No, yeah, totally, and yeah, and I like the Adderall and Pilates. I was just like, okay, yeah, that's all right, but yeah, I don't detest that line, but this I was just like, there was something very odd about her having this extended vision of Kristen in jail. I
Yeah.
didn't like at
She
all.
was like, she'll see my face in the diamond every time she looks at the ring. And they did the little edit where like her face was like in the ring.
Yeah, and there's a huge conflict coming up where people, Zach specifically, wants Brittany to understand and think about the havoc that Janet is wreaking on everyone or you know, like causing towards everyone. And I think I don't really know what the final straw, I guess, for Brittany should be, because she's always been the mediator. Even on Vanderpump Rules, she doesn't want to lose friends. She's kind of like a Sheena in a way, but I feel like she does it better than Sheena, where she just legitimately is friends with everyone. But I was like, at what point do you draw the line if like Janet is accusing another cast member of you know, sexual assault, if she's insulting your best friend, calling him demonic? I was like, where is that line? Is there ever going to be a sort of moral stand that Brittany would take against Janet? Because she doesn't take it this episode, but what would it take for Brittany
Right.
to be like, yeah, Janet, I like you and you're good to me, but you really treat everyone around me who I love really horribly, like Kristen
Yeah.
and Zach especially, and Danny and Nia for sure. I'm just
Mhm.
wondering, will there ever be a break for Brittany with Janet?
Well,
Because
because
it
she
doesn't come this
did
episode.
do that to Zach after the uh he doesn't care if, however you want to frame it, that they claimed that he said he hopes
Yeah.
Janet's unborn baby suffers.
Right.
Brittany was like, I took a break after that. And so I'm
Oh,
like,
you're
yeah,
right.
what's the opposite version of that?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. She did kind of turn against Zach for a little bit and gave him some breathing room for, a certain amount of time. But I
If
just
she was
wonder,
smart, she would take his side because the crowd likes him more. But so
totally.
more to come on that. By the time he brings it up at the end of the episode, he's absolutely wasted.
I know. There
So you can't really. I understand why she's kind of like, Zach, like, please
Yeah. Oh
stop
my God.
this right now. You cannot handle this right now.
Yeah, he was so drunk. Okay, Jax decides to have the boys come over to check out this new beautiful townhouse that he has. He gets everybody there except Darkside Danny.
Yes. I think if I could see out of the corner of my eye that Jason brought Heine Zeros, which are having a real moment. I saw in F1, they're pushing Heine Zeros like mad in that movie. And then in the new Jurassic Park movie, they're all drinking Heine Zeros.
In F1, is it because no one wants to drink a bunch of beers and then drive?
I think they were just like, this is our audience right here. Like, I don't know, like old dudes who don't want to be hungover. We want them to buy Heine Zeros. So they just like forced everyone to drink Heine Zeros.
That's awesome for
Because it didn't even work in the plot because there would be times where you felt like they were like taking the edge off, but you're like, there's no alcohol in that beer.
Oh my God. I almost want to watch both those films just to see how Heine Zero is incorporated. What's going on in Jurassic World Dominion with Heine Zeros or whatever?
They're
that
on
movie's
like
called?
a ship of like, they're doing like an illegal operation where they, I don't know if you wouldn't call them pirates, but like sort of like people that are willing to bring you to an illegal location for cash. So they're on like a boat and they're sort of like bandits and they're all cracking beers. And I was like, those people are drinking Heine Zeros.
Did Heine Zero? They're okay with these heroes of F1 drinking them, but then they're also okay with these bandits in Jurassic Park drinking them? What the hell's going on with Heine Zero advertising? Wow. I've never had a Heine Zero.
I don't think I have either.
Man,
Otherwise I would just drink a Diet Coke probably if I was doing non-alc, but
Heine Zero sounds pretty good right now, to be honest. To be
we'll
honest
do a
with you.
taste test.
Okay, Jax has this thing. Oh my God! Talk about a cool pad, bachelor pad. This thing has TVs.
It does look like nice.
Yeah,
Like,
TVs, an old-fashioned globe. I think it was from the 1600s. Did you see this thing? It had different. It was like a British colony.
You probably open it up and there's a bar inside. He also had a vintage plane propeller, like all the
Totally,
masculine elements of decor.
really cool. But
He also he showed Cruz's room, which it was cute. It looked like well put together and like thoughtful, but he had a TV in Cruz's room bigger than Cruz's entire body. I was like, why are you like trying to blast him into space with like a 60-inch TV?
I thought the same thing. I was like, Cruz likes the big screen TVs like that. Like, damn, it was like, yeah, like 65 inches or something. Yeah, it's cool. He's showing it around. Schwartz is there too. I think Schwartz also brought some candles and Heine Zeros. And then I think he talks about they sit all down. The patio actually looks pretty cool. Did you see that area? Did you like
Yeah.
it?
Did you like that they pulled a James Kennedy shade where he was like, I think my townhouse is nicer than my old house, to be honest. And then they show an airplane go overhead.
Yeah, I liked that too, but I thought it was a little too much trying to replicate the James moment. It's like, if I see a plane, who knows? Like one. Does it happen all the time? I
It
mean,
was a callback.
I get a couple planes going by my house, but I wasn't sure if that's part of the route. Then whoa, that's rough. And then Jax goes, hey, my boys. He goes, guess what? I got to talk about some cruise stuff. First of all, he goes, tell everybody how big the TV is in that room, because if Brittany hears how big that thing is, she's gonna want to let Cruz sleep over pretty soon. And so the boys say, yes, we'll report back to Brittany about that room. And then he goes, guess what? I don't know what to do about Brittany because she keeps giving me mixed signals. First, she'll call me every name in the book: piece of shit, asshole, moron, dunce. What's her favorite thing to call him? Moron. She calls him
Moron.
No, dumbass. Dumbass is what she calls him the most. Dumbass. And he goes, but then she'll send me a photo of her with picking a bunch of daisies. And I'll go, what the hell? And Jason goes, so what you're accusing her of is breadcrumbing. Would you say that's what it is? And he goes, and Jax goes, yes, I think what Brittany is doing constitutes breadcrumbing.
Total breadcrumbs. It's giving Hansel and Gretel fucking crumbs.
But it's like that was it was so ridiculous to me that Jason gave him that alley-oop of some modern terminology that Jax doesn't understand, and he was like, yes, I would determine it to be that as well.
The longer this goes on, the more Jason is pissing me off. Like,
no, come on, please don't say that.
It's like he has, to quote Nick Viall, no backbone, but I'm always like, what? Like, what is your opinion? Like, what do you stand for? I think weird.
I think he meant Jax ate and left no crumbs.
That's even worse.
No. I totally get it. Here's what I'll say about Jason.
I have no room for
member.
Like middle of the road. I'm
I
like,
understand.
Do something.
Thou shalt either be hot or cold. If thou is lukewarm, I shall spit you out of thy mouth. I think that's what God said at some point in the Bible.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. And Jason it is odd to me that I agree morally most of the time with his view of things, except I think he's going a little, this dark side Danny handling was not great. But then he has absolute 100% deference to Janet, who makes strategically and morally horrible decisions 80% of the time. Yeah. So there's this major divide where everyone loves Jason, they dislike Janet, and then he has to stand up for Janet all the time and takes Janet's side, even unprompted, unprovoked. And he loves her. He got a ring on it. He got a tattoo ring just to honor her. So in case his ring was ever off. So I understand that it is affecting my view of him, as you say, because in this finale, I can't enjoy any decision he makes because he's so adherent to Janet's black and white view of everything that I feel like we lose what Jason's true stance would be on anything. And I agree with you. Actually, I didn't really like him teeing up that breadcrumbing thing for Jax. I almost felt like Jax texted and said, can you say breadcrumbing in this scene? Because I got to get that out. And Jason did it for him, which I didn't appreciate that.
Right. And then here is where we get Jax turning on Danny in a way that I didn't totally expect to this degree. Jesse's like, where is Danny? Like, why isn't he here? Because every single one of us is here except for him. And Jax goes, who? The classic thing that everyone always says on Watch What Happens Live when they get asked about an enemy.
One of our 8 cast members that I've loved every day of my life until now for some reason. Yeah. And he goes, I bet he's drinking somewhere. It's like, could you imagine if you were in a friend group and someone was like, where's Riley? And it's like, he's probably at a bar somewhere drinking. It's like, first of all, yes.
Jax saying that?
Yeah. It's like, first of all, yes, I am. Yeah. Cool. What's
the Kris Jenner quote?
I don't know.
It's like sure. She's like alone and drunk, drinking all the time. She goes, and what's the problem?
And I'm not even saying like, yes, great. Like, I'm not being like so pro drink or whatever. I'm just like, the Jax being the one to bring this up is so ridiculous. And also it's the worst, like, not a comeback, but the worst like question to utter that I've ever heard. It's so lame. And he did it. They show a flashback where he said that same joke before about Danny being drunk somewhere. And it's just, you're like, this coming out of Jax's mouth is just the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's like truly insane. He's been out of rehab for like 1 week or whatever, and he's ordering drinks throughout this. By the end of the episode, he's getting a vodka on the rocks, and I'm like, I know you're claiming that your issue isn't with alcohol, but like, if you're taking a complete inventory of your mental state, I guess you haven't totally dealt with your coke issue like in any. He's going to have to go back to rehab for that. But I'm like, don't you think you want to do like a little self-imposed like 90-day sobriety while you are doing this intensive? Like, he's like, that's not my problem. Like, that's not what my issue is.
Let's keep in mind, this isn't the one that's stuck. Yeah. So this was the first iteration. Yeah, by the end of it, he's swilling vodka down like this, and they have a scene where he's like in the bushes, and his eyes are arched like this, and he's just drinking vodka, looking at the camera. And I was like, damn, like they really showed the like descent of where Jax has gotten to by the end of the finale.
He goes by the end, he's saying, I don't have a drinking problem, or I'm not a bad drunk. I have anger issues that drive me to drink.
Yeah, Danny hands him his ass later. Luke rightfully talk about sticking up for Danny. I liked this. He goes, "What is your problem with Danny?" He's just like, "Huh? Where did this come from?" Just like you and I are saying. And he goes, "I think Danny's two-faced.
Right.
I think he's a little two-faced guy. He'll go to my bar and he'll get drunk as a skunk and he can barely walk. And I'll call Nia and Nia will be screaming at him that her husband needs to come home with him. And then he tries to tell me what I can do better." So first of all, yes, possibly that is true. It's happened multiple times. Danny cannot handle his liquor. I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
He gets completely drunk after 3 White Claws, but whatever. Be that as it may, Jax obviously being the one to say this is ridiculous. And I also don't remember Danny offering advice to Jax in any way, enough to where Jax would take umbrage with it and be pissed off. I feel like Danny's given him as much advice as anyone else is here. So this is a completely calculated, out of nothing move, for Jax against Danny.
Yeah. He goes, my business partners at the bar have pulled me aside and said, we're going to get sued if he keeps doing what he's doing.
Could you imagine if you were a business partner and you saw Dark Side Danny and he was so drunk stumbling around that you go, "We're going to get sued if anybody sees that guy stumbling around"?
What does that even mean? They're going to sue the business?
I think that you would be like, well, I do this sometimes if you need extra cash. You say, "I'm going to sue you because I just saw a really, really drunk guy in the corner," because they can't overserve you. So if you ever, this is another great hack. If you ever go to a bar, you see someone really, really drunk in the corner, say to the bartenders, "I'm going to sue you for overserving that guy," and they'll slip you like $100. But I think that he must have meant Danny touching. And that didn't get added until Jax later levies that accusation against him. But I think the partners are going, "He's touching everybody that moves in here." You know what I mean?
I won't step on it, but Danny has a great retort for that I was happy for him that he was able to sling a little mud.
He was retorting his ass off.
Oh, totally. We also get Luke defending Danny, saying he didn't drink in Hawaii, that apparently he hadn't drank in 3 weeks. Jax goes, "I don't believe that for a second."
He goes, "He's such a piece of shit. I bet he was secretly drinking all around Hawaii." I didn't notice even that Danny wasn't drinking in Hawaii. Did you at all? You just say no immediately if you didn't. But did you at all feel like kind of like, "Oh, I wish he could have had a couple sips of like a Mai Tai in Hawaii"? Or do you think it's good that he's on this journey?
I mean, it kind of sucks for him because I feel like it's not self-imposed. Like, he just knows that he's going to get so much shit if he drinks, even though he wants to. So I felt kind of bad for him. Like, at the Zen party, he's drinking water and he's like, "I'm drinking my third fucking water."
Because I've been guzzling 9 waters and 3 lemons over here, not drinking at all. His relationship with alcohol aside, I agree with you completely. This seems like it was something where it's like, you cast members aren't going to have shit on me for the rest of filming for a month.
Yeah.
And then he still gets excluded from Jax's parties by Jax while he's not drinking to try to rectify, this problem that the entire cast has with him. Remember when Janet last episode, they ADR'd her saying, "I'm not going to be around Danny if he's drunk for 1 second."
Yes.
Wow, and he wasn't. He was purposely not drinking for 3 weeks.
I think it's good that he was sober at the party, though, so that he could go toe to toe with Jax.
So he could hand Jax his ass for sure. Just what last thing? They show a flashback where Jax hasn't been inviting Danny to multiple things, and Jax goes, and they go, "Where is Danny?" And he goes, "Getting drunk as hell, probably." And so he repeated that exact same joke from 3 weeks later. And then Jax goes, "My whole thing is, thou shalt not preach unless you have a clean slate. Once you've righted your rights or wronged your wrongs," and it's just a bunch of gibberish that Jax is spewing to the group.
He makes no sense. He goes, "Don't preach what you have done unto others."
Yeah. And again, the same moral philosophy we've talked about, I think, every single week on Vanderpump Rules and on this. Where did he get it in his head that someone has to be perfect before they can give you advice?
Yeah.
Would you not take someone who's committed horrible, horrible sins in their past, who's recovered from drinking and now no longer has a relationship with alcohol like that, that has remedied it? Like, there are so many people that I would take advice from for anything, of any aspect of life, and they don't have to be perfect to tell me. It is such a stupid philosophy.
Yeah.
It makes
He's
no
really
sense.
obsessed with it.
It's really the one thing you cannot get him to accept, that people can impart advice and they do not have to be perfect.
Yeah. He's like, okay, divorceo. Like, he's always just like,
Handle your marriage, divorceo.
yeah.
You got a problem with drinking. Like, someone has to be a sober angel to ever give him advice about anything. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. Then we get, not much to get into. There's just like a Jesse and Michelle moment where you feel like they're finally maybe stepping towards getting on the same page about co-parenting and not being sworn enemies. Jesse cries. He says the divorce is not her fault. It's both of their faults, and that he takes accountability for the things that he did in their relationship. And they ended in a hug. So this felt nice, but we all know it's not going to last because in the reunion, they're screaming at each other.
I know, I saw it, and they even give us a glimpse at the party where Michelle brings up again her her mom and what's going on. So I was like, oh no, this is not going to last. But a really sweet scene. Not knowing the future, I really enjoyed or appreciated Jesse taking accountability, and Michelle loved it. I mean, she was really beaming as Jesse told her this, that we need to chip away at whatever this irrationality that I have, and that I take accountability, or we both are responsible. And when he said, I know you appreciated when I went up to Aaron and said, Aaron, you love my wife, my ex-wife, and I just want you to be happy. And Michelle has a smile that I've never seen in the presence of Jesse before. So really, I thought it was a really sweet moment between them. I saw sparks, to be honest.
Sparks are flying. You're like, get back together.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I want to say, he goes, where did you put my ayahuasca beanie? I wore it to the Chateau Marmont and then I never saw it again. And then Michelle says, I threw it away. And he goes, if you truly did that, then I take back everything I said. She goes, I'm just kidding. I didn't throw it away. But I wanted to reiterate that I think Jax needs to take a one-way trip. Not one way. He can have a return flight. But I think that Jax, at least as a part of his overall mental health journey, I think he needs to do that same trip that Jesse did, the ayahuasca trip, because I swear the first 3 episodes of The Valley season 1, Jesse was even more of a monster. He got back off. He had an ayahuasca trip. He's been slowly getting better, I think, due to ayahuasca. So I want Jax to really do that. And if they want to film it for Bravo, I don't think that he should be. I don't think that he should be rewarded
Spin-off
with
special.
it. I was just going to say, I don't think he should be necessarily rewarded with a spin-off special called Jax's ayahuasca trip, because nobody probably wants to see that. But I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world to possibly document it in some way. But yeah, Jesse, what do you think? We've gotten to the place now where Janet is the number one villain. If anybody said my least favorite cast member who I hate with all of my heart is Janet, and Jesse, I feel like, is what, top 4? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, really, I think unless what is to be believed is not actually true on screen, I do feel like Jesse is making strides towards growth. And I think he's a mean-spirited person at times, and I think he's made a lot of horrible decisions, but there is something here that I think he's moving toward in terms of his own personal mental health journey.
Yeah. He does have a certain self-awareness that I find entertaining and, dare I say, charming at times. But, I'm always prepared for him to do something completely despicable, but I'm also open to him having a journey of healing.
Me too. Yeah, it just I think it's remarkable. To me, it's remarkable that Jesse exists on this cast, and I think people are very divided on him, or it's almost like he's too likable to where people don't kind of forget some of his flaws. But I'm at the place now where, like, I enjoy Jesse, everything he does. I find him extremely compelling. I think he is striving towards being a better person, and if we're talking strictly as from an entertainment standpoint, I find him to be probably the third most entertaining cast member on this show.
Yeah.
So huge, huge
Yeah.
win for
I
Jesse. However you,
enjoy I enjoy his snobbery that he still goes in the at the party. Luke or is it Luke and Kristen? They invite him over, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't go to the Valley. I still don't want to go there."
yeah, he loves being right in the back sort of area or right behind Chateau Marmont.
I
Which
know. I was
who
like, "Damn, Yamashiro." I was like, "That's so convenient for him."
my God, he was loving when they got the Yamashiro invite. Brittany goes inside, or sorry, Brittany and Cruz get a new
I feel like,
doormat.
yeah, let's just bullet. Brittany and Kristen talk about Kristen's fertility journey. We've talked about that enough. She's struggling. We know she has a baby now.
But,
Next.
great. But we have to. We'd be remiss if we didn't include this. They give a new attribute of Luke's sperm evaluation. 58 million per milliliter, and the goal is 20 million in 1 milliliter. So I don't. I didn't get that fact last week, so I thought that was interesting. But you're right. Let's go to
By the way, the Viall Files episode started with sperm talk, and they also listed every man on Bravo who's had their sperm tested on the show. So maybe they listen.
Good. I hope they enjoyed that opening segment. Who did we miss anybody, or is it all the same people?
It was all the same. They got them all. It was like Craig,
Really?
Sandoval,
Wow. All right. Well,
Kyle.
okay. All right. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess we're maybe just low hanging fruit here. I guess. All right. Benji and Zach. I gotta say, I'll say my kind of what did I say that?
No. I just love how Zach says Benji and he says Zin instead of Zen.
Oh, right. Zach and Benji go in this sort of lobby waiting room to have dinner. And I have to say, first of all, the scene was a little too long. It was about 9 minutes long. Could have been 2 minutes long. I know they wanted to make this supersized, but little slow. And overall, I found them to be pretty awkward with each other overall. And I'll give it the cameras, possibly the spotlight on this new relationship. But the way they talk about their relationship and proposing marriage and moving in and stuff, I was like, I don't know, you guys can barely have a 30-minute conversation without having huge pauses in it. It didn't seem like I'm just like, both of them, I would say, let's maybe take a step back and think about this for a couple of years.
Benji's not ready for prime time.
Yeah, and there was nothing really notable about this at all, except, he says, you didn't notice when I got Scrotox to Benji, and Benji goes, well, I'll look now, but I didn't know, and I didn't want you to get that, or I never asked you to. And then Zach goes, I'm going to get pissed at Brittany later. Wait till the Zen party.
Yeah. Which brings us to Yamashiro. At the beginning, Michelle gives everyone crystals with a personalized note, which I was like, when they actually showed the notes, they kind of splice up everyone reading theirs, but it was like a full note card. I was like, that probably took so long to do all of that.
I loved this. I thought that this was a great start. It was sweet. I mean, Zen party, whatever. I mean, it might have been sort of, obviously Michelle is lucky or excited to have the finale party, so she wants to have a theme, and I understand. But I really thought positive affirmations for all the cast members and them reading it was really sweet. They did some, editing tricks and stuff to make it like, I don't know, whatever the Zen treatment they were trying to give it. But like when, Jax reads his and I don't know what it was, like, you are the strongest man I've ever met in my life. Brittany, I hope you find true love someday. And Jax goes, what the hell? Yeah, everyone really enjoyed those affirmations. Kristen started crying when it said, like, I hope you have strength in your fertility journey. And I feel like it almost, it would have been a horrible finale had it ended there, but I think I would have preferred it because I got much more upset with how they treat the finale after this moment than I would have if it just ended with positive affirmations.
Yeah. Then, of course, it cuts to Jax in his confessional, and he's like, I don't believe in any of that crystal woo-woo shit. It's all garbage. And I'm like, okay, pretending the Reiki healer didn't help you.
I said the same thing. I go, I don't know enough about Reiki, but come on. You believed in that with all of your spirit. You were, if I remember correctly, you were putting those wonderful stones that the Reiki healer gave you on your face. Remember when he would
Yeah.
tap
Tap,
into
tap,
his
tap.
rage? Remember when we found out the Reiki healer was married the entire time and they were deceptively misleading us?
Remember how it turns out that Phaedra is a certified Reiki healer and that she should work on Jax?
Oh, I forgot that. Oh my God, he'd believe in Reiki healing in 1 second if Phaedra came over to help him. He goes, I don't believe in any of this shit at all. And then Jax says, Jax is roaming around this party. He goes, I'm going to take a shot. I haven't had a drink in an hour. And he's kind of, I think he's waiting for it to have some moments. And I think Brittany is number one on his list, and then Danny is number two on his list. But he wants
Yeah.
to get a little drunk before he gets there. Also, Jason is like already 3 sheets to the wind. Drunk as a skunk, trying to make out with Janet. And he's like, "Come on, kiss me, Janet." And Janet's completely sober. So I just want to
Okay.
clock that Jason is the drunkest I've ever seen him in my life.
Yeah.
Coming up over this next couple
Yeah,
hours.
he's fired up by the end. Okay, so we get this Jackson Brittany combo. He pitches the cruise cam in the little cruise room that he's made, and she's like, "That's a good idea when we get to that point," but like, he's still not going over there.
What do you think? So the checklist is well, I mean, I guess I'm like, when does Jax? Obviously, she thinks that he's going to have a bunch of people that he meets at like Hooters and Jax's Studio City going back to have sex with him at his bachelor pad while he's in the care of Cruz. So obviously, he has to prove for at least a couple weeks or months that that's not going to be the case. And then, I guess what else? Like, I guess for Jax, he should be like, what exactly do I need to do? Because there's such a failure of communication between them.
Yeah,
Jack should
yeah,
be more, instead of getting indignant or whatever the fuck he does in this conversation, it should just be like, okay, in addition to this ring cam idea that Luke gave me, that I'm over the moon about, that I love, and I'm telling everyone who will listen about this cruise cam, can you tell me the steps of in 3 months will I be able to have visitation over cruise, and what does it take for me to
yeah,
get that? But that is not,
yeah,
obviously how Jax operates at all.
yeah. It sounds like drug testing needs to be part of
Right.
that. I also liked earlier Jesse was like, "All right, camera if you want, but can we get some fucking baby gates up in this bitch?" Like,
Yep.
oh my God.
Oh my God, those stairs. Oh my God. Yeah, I think those, what are they called? Stair guards? Baby guards?
Yeah.
Babies, what are they called? Baby stairs?
I've
Oh,
never had to have one.
oh yeah. I'm sorry. Baby
Baby, don't go there.
baby don't go there. I think so too, for how treacherous those stairs seem. And then he goes, he goes, Brittany, you didn't even give me a chance. I thought when I went into that rehab that I had a chance with you, that you'd give me a few weeks. And basically what Brittany has said is that you already burned every bridge. It was irreparably damaged before you even got in there. And also when you got back, I didn't want you to start love bombing me. I knew it'd be hard to live with you in the same place. So while I had my strength and while I was away from you, I had to make that decision because, there's nothing that Jax can do to come back from what he did to Brittany at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, he keeps pulling out the thing of like, you could just snap your fingers and be over it and like, divorce me while I'm in rehab. And she's like very upset, crying. And she's like, I knew once I saw you again, I just didn't stand a chance. And I was like, that is actually sad. And this is where he brings up that he's like sending me insults, then sending me photos of the yard. And she's like, yeah, I was trying to show you that I could upkeep and maintain our house because you keep saying that I can't. And he goes, you'll see, sweetheart. He's like, those finances are about to get real heavy. And she's like, you're the fucking reason it's so expensive. And they show the clip of like that he was millions of dollars in tax debt. It jacked up their mortgage, blah, blah, blah. And I am like, to this day, very curious of how she's going to maintain that and why she would even want to be on the hook for that additional amount, which is his fault.
I know. Yes. Yeah, you made so many bad decisions, which she says, you just racing to a townhouse to leave me with this. Yeah, I would completely want to start over and be like, this pile of shit that has your tax lien on it. I'm not paying for 1 second of this. Once we split, that's your tax debt again. I don't know, but that's just a decision where I guess Brittany loves that house so much that she's willing to do that, but I have no idea. Bad call, but it's all Jax's fault that he left her this mess to have to
I know.
untangle, with Cruz,
Yeah.
in the middle of it.
I just can't believe I think about it every day of my life that they ruined having a good interest rate. Like they've ruined it in every possible way. Like the house is no longer like worthwhile.
Uh,
Like they're
I,
just
I
paying up the asshole for
I
it.
can't believe Jackson didn't pay his taxes. I
You
think we've
can't.
already talked about this. No, 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 no. I can. I guess. I don't know. I just, I think we've talked about this. The hurt and pain I would feel, the nerve-wracking,
Anguish.
crippling anguish I would feel from not paying my taxes even on April 16th. It would hurt me for the rest of my life. And Jax was letting 1.2 million not go. And we already talked about this. He has business managers, people to help him. Like the easiest thing in the world
That's
for him
his
to.
like don't tread on me attitudes coming through. He's like, I don't fuck with that. Like, what are taxes even being used for? They're like, well, you will be going to jail. Um,
Uh,
and he also gives her more attitude about, she's like, you went and got that condo. And he's like, sweetheart, it's called a townhouse, not a condo. And he's like, I thought it was the right thing to do. And it would have gotten snatched up immediately. It's the nicest place in all of North Hollywood. And she's like, I don't care. Like, you put us in a really bad position. And he's like, don't play the victim, sweetheart. You were living in a mansion. Like, you were staying in mansions. And she's like, well, I spent so much fucking money on living all these different places and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, and you were hooking up with guys, by the way. And she's like, Jax.
She goes, Jax, and then he goes, well, guess what? I'm gonna look at those divorce papers someday. And she goes, you haven't even looked at them? And he goes, no, I'm gonna have a lawyer look at them, but we're gonna wait until the last minute. And she goes, why? Why in the world? And he goes, just because. It's like, oh my God, why? A great question. Why? Just to fuck with her, just
Yeah.
to prolong this and make this harder for her. And I think he didn't even know that he didn't even think that he would say something like that because he didn't have a retort of what to say back. He just says, just because he knows that that's truly how he feels about it. And then when she calls him out on it, he doesn't know what to say. It's like, oh, because this is how you treat Brittany all the time. You just make everything harder and worse for her. And that's your MO when you're dealing with Brittany. And then she goes, you are a narcissist. And he goes, okay, that's enough. I won't stand for this anymore once you use that word on me. And then she goes, I used to look at this man as my best friend. And now all I see is a really, really greasy man with greasy pores, a greasy cheek, greasy head,
Agrees the man child.
a greasy man child. His pores are filled with grease, and he's got a greasy vein popping out of his head. And I was like, damn, Brittany thought that he was greasy.
She's like, let's put down some of that grease and make some grits, all right?
She really, she said, it's, that love, those rose colored glasses. When she
Yeah.
put those on, Jax was the handsomest guy in the world, obviously,
Yeah.
one of the most handsome men
She
that we've
couldn't
ever seen.
resist him for a second.
And then when she put those things off, all she sees is big greasy Jax, and then and he is a little greasy.
Do you think Drunk Drawn is going to do a drawing of him covered in grease?
Oh, if I know Drunk Drawn, yes, I think that Jax will be in a big vat of grease with grease, and he'll have eyes that are bigger and nose that's
Bloodshot.
bigger, bloodshot eyes. His mustache will be there for sure. Okay, now this is when I think the scramble energy. You have succinctly put this in the past as when the Titanic starts to sink and there's a wrap time of 9 p.m. and the producers say, hey, time is money, start talking.
The doors are coming down.
The doors are coming down because everyone just starts scrambling their asses off for any little piece of what they can do to make this finale worthwhile. To me, there's a couple moments or whatever, but for the most part, I find it all desperate and lame. Janet goes up to Nia and Janet goes, hey, obviously in her mind, Janet knows that she did something horrible to Nia and Danny by accusing him of, or proclaiming what he did as sexual assault, whether or not you agree with that. But she still feels it within her to apologize to Nia. And Nia is nice as hell, but she says in her confessional, I want nothing to fucking do with Janet. Kind of shuts her down. And
Yeah.
Janet tries to make some sort of high-minded rationale for why she is doing this, because this is Zen. This is a Zen party, and I know that I stepped over the line or whatever, but still trying to pretend like she has the moral high ground in this situation. It's like, oh my God. You can't even apologize to Nia for this? Yeah. Nia, not even Danny? Yeah. And so horrendous,
yeah. She says unforgivable. We get a quick moment with Jesse, Luke, and Kristen where Jesse cries again about his financial hardship and how hard it is being a single dad.
He admits this stuff, debt.
Yes.
He admits he's got to pay $300,000, or what Michelle said, $300,000. Like, oh my God. How are you able to, again, with taxes and shit, I couldn't do anything if I was in debt. Buying cars, buying cool clothes.
Yeah. And they split their business. So it used to be dual income, all of the sales they each made came to the same household. And now he's just on the hook.
And I'm not, no offense to Little Turtle Cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs who are in massive debt. I don't know what it's like. I just have the temperament or personality where it would hurt me every day of my life. I'd be completely crushed. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't have fun. And Jesse has fun. Yeah. He goes, look at him. Wearing the coolest suit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God! Did you see his jacket in the reunion trailer? It had a blue fur collar.
Oh my God!
It was amazing.
Oh my! He looks. I mean, okay. I mean, he's an amazing dresser. He's got a wonderful fashion, but he's crying again, and you can see Luke and Kristen are like, God, I love this guy. Kristen loves Jesse so much. She just finds him so endearing and sweet. I think he fits the mold of all of the people that she's appreciated in the past. Jesse is right there among her top 20 friends. And then Luke loves Jesse too, like you just said, from Nick Viall, that he appreciates him, and this new version of himself.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the Jax and Danny of it all. Jax sees Danny across the room drinking water, and he's like, look at this shit. He's always like, I'm not drinking. Like, own your shit. I don't believe it for a fucking second.
Oh my God, yeah. He also goes, who else seemed like he was, good when he was sober, but then not great when he was drunk? Ted Bundy.
First he said Jeffrey Dahmer.
You know who was famously really nice when he was sober and then got kind of weird when he was drunk? Jeffrey Dahmer. It's like,
he's like, do you think he's like Danny? It's kind of giving he would eat human flesh once he's drinking. That's what he's giving.
And then, for you and I who have been sort of cataloging Dark Side Danny and his many egregious acts, considering him in the same league as Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy is just ridiculous, especially coming out of
I would say
Jax's mouth.
Jax is doing Danny a huge favor in making it clear that this is a totally vapid takedown, because it's so unwarranted and he's taking it so far that I actually think it invalidates everything, the whole thing.
I think so too.
The whole campaign is ruined.
I think so too. Danny says, you don't have a leg to stand on, which is absolutely true. And then Jax completely tries to sputter through that and get around why he's the one who's chastising Danny, again, breaking his own rule of thou is no angel, sweetheart, one thing that he adheres to. And then Nia, I didn't like this. Nia and Kristen race in, and it was kind of a perfect 1-to-1 showdown. I was happy. I was like, Danny's handing Jax's ass. Jax is sputtering, spiraling, saying a bunch of bullshit, becoming the biggest hypocrite in Bravo television. And then Kristen goes, I need to help. And Nia goes, I'll help. And then it spirals out of control. And then it kind of, you know what I mean? It's
they ruined it.
They were killing it with that scene.
Jax, he just completely glitches out when he's trying to think of, he has no way to put a thought together in any coherent way. So he goes, he's like, hey, Danny, what's going on? And Danny's like, I don't know. You tell me. You keep not inviting me to shit. What's going on? And he goes, Jax is like, I'm not saying you're not a good father. You're a great father. And I'm like, we weren't fucking talking about that. What are you talking about? And he goes, but you're a terrible drunk. You are. Don't even argue it. You are. And he's like, you don't have a leg to stand on. Jax says again that I said earlier, I'm not a terrible drunk. I have an anger issue that leads to drinking. And he's like, you keep getting kicked out of my bar. You live in fairy tale land. He says fairy tale 10 10 times throughout this
It
conversation
was
where
one
he's
of his
like,
pre-written things.
yeah.
Accuse Nia and Danny of living in fairy tale land. So he said it over and over again.
And talk about advice the last person you want it from. He goes, it's okay to not be okay.
Danny
I'm like,
goes,
did you just learn that one?
Yeah, and Danny goes, I know. Like, you don't need to tell me any of this shit. So kind of then it gets diluted, eventually with all of the people coming in. Jax doesn't really get the full repercussions for being, a hypocrite and calling Danny into question. Kristen kind of takes him away to try to calm him down. Danny and
Jax
Nia.
is like in psychosis. He's
Yeah.
like, okay, Mrs. America in fairy tale land, you're always saying we're protected. It's a perfect world. Guess what we are? We're perfect. And they're all like, are you okay?
Yeah, it's like a 4 out of 10 on that meltdown he had at Sir that we talked about in Vanderpump Rules. He was encroaching upon that sort of meltdown in a way. The way he was acting and saying
He's
just a
like,
bunch
la, la, la.
of garbage over again. Yeah, I don't know how. I think that we can sort of be kind of quick about just the random stuff that kind of pops up. They let it go on too long. It's like they needed like 2 hours extra because people are cleaning up behind them and everyone is left. And this party felt very, very whittled down to just the cast members. So to me, I don't like that because it just looks like a set, where the cast members are just forced to fight for an hour as much as they can get in. But then Jason and Zach are so drunk that they're barely even able to form sentences anymore. And that's when Zach goes, oh my God, I forgot. One of my narratives is the Britney stuff. And he kind of just goes over the top screaming. You can barely understand him. It's lame. No offense to him. It just comes off lame. They show Sheena that she tried to make a moment about Jenna, but that was the cutting room floor. It was garbage. Michelle did a garbage claim about her mom, not like just an attempt to get Jesse back in the ring for some conflict, and all of this shit just like fizzled out and flopped basically until the end.
Yeah. Also, the thing that I mentioned earlier that comes up during Danny and Jax's back and forth is that Danny claims that Jax sleeps with his staff and that Brittany knows about it, and that he tried to make that sort of an HR issue where he's like, if everyone's going to accuse me of SA, I'm going to accuse Jax of inappropriate workplace behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Nia goes, Daniel, you're on camera. And he goes, I know. There's a camera right in front of my face. There's a camera right behind me.
It.
Yeah, he goes, this is a camera. He goes, we're being filmed right now. We're on camera. And it's like, I was a little bit, it was like, oh, it's kind of like to the point that Nia doesn't want anything bad on camera at all times. It's like, you're on camera now. A camera is pointed at you and you're chastising Danny for saying something outrageous on camera. It's like, nothing could be more par for the course than Danny telling the world that Jax sleeps with his staff at Jax's Studio City. And
I was wondering if she thought it was like a legal issue of maybe they could get in trouble.
And that's why he pops in that allegedly in the confessional to sort of hopefully blanket that whole thing. But again, Zach, he kind of has to be consoled by Benji. Jason comes back and he's drunk, and Janet goes, Jason, if you don't get out of here right now, I'm going to divorce you. I'm going to get that tattoo off your finger pretty soon.
Zach is off his rails. He's like, Brittany, you don't understand. Janet's going to cut off your skin and wear it. He's like screaming when Janet leaves. He's like, bye, bye. And he says, fuck you, whore. And then Janet comes back around and she's like, I didn't say, like, did I hear bye? Do you want to say something to me? And Jason, like, kind of wants to start a fight. You could tell. He goes, I didn't say hi. You want to say bye? And then he's like, hey, drunkie, even though they're both totally drunk. And he's like, hey, Benji, your boyfriend's eyes are going every which way. And then Zach is like crying. It's like a total mess.
Yeah, he goes, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I did like when Kristen gets into it with Janet, where Janet's like, you think the things that you said about me were okay? You called me a whore and you said you were going to kick my ass. And Kristen's like, we used to be very good friends. You know that I speak colorfully.
Yeah. Kristen also says, if someone called me a whore and said they were going to punch me in my face, I wouldn't give a shit. So that's the difference between me and you, Janet, which I thought was kind of iconic and fun.
Yeah, totally.
Kristen ends. It kind of the season ends with Kristen saying, my karma is absolutely beautiful. I feel so perfect and good right now. And I was like, yeah, you should. You didn't do anything wrong this season. You spread a rumor that should have been nipped in the bud after 1 hour, like we already talked about. And Janet ended up taking a rumor that she hated that she thought was lame and stupid, and then made it the arc of her entire season for 8 more episodes. Like, it should have never ended up where it was in the final, in the overall arc of this season. And Janet made it what it was. She's been talking about it every 5 minutes on this show. So I think
Seriously.
I think Kristen does end as a hero for the most part. At the end of this, Jack says, "I'll never find love again," and then they give us that 3-part reunion trailer, which we already, we discussed a little bit at the
Yeah.
beginning of the episode.
I liked that they just stole Michelle's like time for our Zen fireworks, and I assume that this was on a Hollywood Bowl weekend because they were right there, and I was like, wow, they got to use that for the finale. They got to have fireworks.
Yeah, that was sweet. Yeah, production didn't even have to like pay for it or anything. They just got the residual Hollywood Bowl, fireworks. Yeah, one thing that I want to hopefully try to stop on all Bravo shows, or maybe just some franchises, is when they go to some event and then everyone goes, "Well, that was the last thing I wanted on my boat cruise," or you know what I mean? Like this is the opposite
So
of
much for
Zen.
Zen.
It's like, okay, I know that we possibly wanted some fights to erupt, at some of these events. So I think that I'm kind of tired of hearing people always say over and over again, like, that's not what I wanted here, or this dinner really went to hell, or so much for a beautiful dinner. Like, it's just, I've heard it enough, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
But I don't know. I do think this season could have been better, but I am hopeful still that they can. I'm curious what they'll pull together, who they'll swap in, who they'll swap out. I'm very curious about the Lala Sheena Schwartz of it all. How much Jax is going to be involved, if at all. I mean, obviously he'll be talked about, but like, will he ever be seen? I don't know.
mm-hmm. I don't know I really don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I don't know. Like, I can't really, I'm like, it's good enough. Like, I enjoy it. So I don't imagine them doing like a huge cast overhaul, because I also think that the Valley is these cast members and they can only really be replaced by Sheena, Lala, and Schwartz. But I really can't imagine what the future of the Valley is. I think that they'll probably just give them all a season 3 to see if they can move past this, and then maybe integrate Schwartz and Lala and Sheena a little more than they were,
Yeah.
this season, or pay them a little more so they actually feel like they can bring their full lives to the Valley.
Yeah, Luke had a suggestion for one of his good friends who is sober. And I'm like, sorry, Luke, I'm not looking to you for casting advice. But he said if it were up to him, I think they recorded this pre-Jax news, that if it were up to him, Jax and Janet would be out.
Whoa. Wow, Luke said whoa, oh my God,
Yeah.
he said he should, wow. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to mention just lastly is that Brock's tolerance for Jax seems to be at rock bottom.
Yeah.
He didn't even want to be in the same scene with him. The minute that Jax came over to talk to Danny, Brock ran out of there, and he goes to Brittany, he goes, "How the hell could you stand being married to Jax for that long?" I was like, whoa, what's this major rift between Brock? I mean, you can imagine what it is, but Brock seemed to have no tolerance for Jax at all at that point, which is interesting.
Totally.
Well, all right. Well, you and I need to take a break, I guess, and maybe we'll come back and we'll talk about Next Gen NYC, I assume. But for now, you and I, why don't we take a huge certified turtle piss break, release ourselves of piss, and then we'll come back in a little bit, hopefully. We're back.
Hello.
Next Gen NYC.
Oh yeah, the last one, unfortunately.
Oh my God, gone too soon for you and I.
Yeah, 8 episodes. It would be fun if there was a reunion, but I get it. It was a sample platter. They had no idea how it was going to go, but I think the people loved it.
Sample platter. Yes, it really was. There were so many little new things that we were sampling. I was thinking that, I almost don't want it to go through, get its Bravo paces in and do all of the conventional Bravo things. I think that I think that if they don't adhere to some of the Bravo conventions, it would actually be more beneficial to Next Gen NYC. It's almost like, I don't know, to me, sometimes it feels like a completely different show outside of the Bravo universe. So maybe sitting Charlie down in first chair next to Andy would kind of lose some of the luster in a way, having to think about it in terms of those kind of, dynamics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I was thinking about that they want to branch it off into different cities, I was like, can you like slow your roll and just let us have fun with this surprise hit and not try and capitalize off of franchising it already?
Yeah, it's a surprise hit, and we don't need to immediately try to recreate that formula a bunch of different times when this thing is pretty perfect as it is. I mean, since you and I have been talking about Next Gen NYC, every single person that says, "Hey, I started watching it," it's been a 10 out of 10 ringing endorsement from everyone who's watched it.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it. I was thinking about that as it was winding down to this episode when they were like, we're just at the bowling alley. Okay, cut it off. And then let's show just a bunch of scenes from the fall and the winter. I really liked that they sort of didn't adhere to the traditional, like what we would have seen. Like Charlie decided to get even more into crypto and worked even harder with Omar. Or, like I like that they actually gave us real glimpses of what was going on with those little snapshot scenes. So all of that kind of, and then I also like don't really expect, like I was talking about the first time we ever talked about Next Gen NYC, I don't really expect the huge conflict generators or blowouts that I have come to expect from different franchises. I would rather it just continue at this scale for the most part. And I don't know, I guess what I'd be saying if it was like completely boring, but so far I think this cast can handle a wide spectrum of conflict and not blow it completely like the cast members on the Valley who blow everything they touch for the most part.
Yeah, like we said before, time after time, they kind of just get over their beefs immediately. Like they sort of on this episode start with talking shit about Ava not coming to the New Jersey, and within like 5 minutes, Brooks is like, "Well, I love you. It's fine."
Yeah, he's like, I love you and I'll never stop loving you. And I'm sorry that we tried to make this a thing for a second, but you're one of my best friends. I think you're a wonderful person. And then the same, you could say that about everyone. Ariana and Georgia, they got over their little blip for 1 second. Charlie and Ariana, they're like, hey, we like each other. I'm sexually attracted to you, Charlie says to Ariana. Ariana and Riley, it was so sweet. Ariana and Riley have completely rebelled against the traditions of these shows. And they said, what if we just said we love each other within 1 second after we fought the next morning? Kind of how you would be if you and I went on a trip and we started fighting like hell on a Saturday night, drunk as two skunks fighting. And then on Saturday morning, we go, what the hell were we talking about?
Yeah,
Let's just get over this. We want to have a good time. It's more realistic to me. I
yeah,
think this whole, the whole, environment of this show feels more real and a different sort of scope than Bravo traditionally deals with. And a lot of it I saw, I don't know if we know this production company. I see it when we look at our beautiful, beautiful screeners. It's called like Ninth Door or something. And I've never
hmm,
heard that company before, but I was like, whoa, damn, what if they like are figuring out a new way to make this shit look great? Like they're taking Bravo conventions, but then they're adding their spin on it. That's why the titles look so cool. The
hmm,
subtitles are that way. They didn't do the traditional end cards and they just started picking up filming for random spots in the off season. All of those ideas are really great. So I
yeah,
give so much credit to that production company if that's
yeah.
their decision.
No, I've enjoyed every minute. I hope that the second season, I wonder if they'll pick it up real quickly or if it'll take them a while to get us another season.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I hope that they just pick up, as soon as possible because these cast members are so in flux right now. One of our wonderful Villa Rosa VIPs made this statement after they watched it that we are watching 20-year-olds in New York City in this hustle and bustle environment who are going to have all of these drastic, dramatic changes happen in their life over the next 5 years. So I think that it should go out like clockwork because they couldn't even keep a handle on Georgia. Georgia's like, I'm in Singapore, and Omar left me here, and now he threw my boxes out, and that's just like the end credit scenes, that we're
Can't
getting a
wait
glimpse of.
what you have to say about your beloved Omar.
Oh my gosh, Omar, it actually ended up being just net neutral. Went up a couple points, down a couple points. He's still perfect, 7 out of 10 human being to me now.
Neutral, neutral.
So yeah, I guess before we get into it. I think that 8 episodes was also perfect. Like I
Hmm.
think I already said, I wouldn't want them to be drawing this thing out. It's just like a nice summer time capsule, 8 episodes, no reunion. Let us see what's next. The minute they pick up filming, and I was thinking about the future a little bit too. Like, I don't know if it would help them to just possibly pop in other people randomly and just see how they work and get along with the cast so that there's not so much pressure on these core cast members. Because once there's pressure in the core 7, I feel like that sometimes is detrimental because, like, I don't know, they become too I don't know. It's the problem that happens with on Housewives franchises when like the cast gets too solidified and there's too many alliances. Like in order to keep it fresh and keep it uh changing and keep it representative of an actual friend group, I hope they can just make cast adjustments and keep everybody in the fold that we love, but also just make it more of a representation of an organic friend group and not a cast.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
maybe that would solve some problems in the future. But
Yeah, it does feel like so far they are being true to themselves. Like Charlie and Georgia can't ever actually feud, and they keep getting back together friendship wise. Charlie is like addicted to Ava, who is less and less interested in the show. Like Riley and Ariana keep coming back together. Like it seems like they're sticking with their natural inclinations. Like it
yes,
feels authentic,
yeah,
you
you're
know?
right. And there are natural friend ofs that are already sort of gravitating in there.
Hmm.
Amira's boyfriend is sort of in
Hmm.
there in a decent way. I like the
Yeah.
little glimpses that we see of him. I like Shy,
Hmm.
who we see. I think the other one is Dylan, Charlie's former
Right.
roommate who left. Like there are people that are just like coming in and maybe they'll want to be cast members on the second season and they'll give them a try. Just as long as they can kind of resist the tropes that we constantly see, I think that's what will keep Next Gen NYC fresh and fun, like how
Yeah.
this was.
It just, yeah, there's something just surprising about it and refreshing in the sense that, whenever we talk about whatever the new Vanderpump Rules will be, is that you anticipate them being influencers by trade, like camera ready, self-producing, and for some reason these kids they seem like they're like I could take it or leave it. Like they're like I'll let the cameras watch me, but I kind of like don't care that much. Like there's something like they would be doing it either way. Like their behavior isn't different. And honestly, like if the show ended, it doesn't seem like they would really care or their life would be impacted that much. Whereas usually on like Southern Hospitality or I presume the new Vanderpump Rules, like they're like, I need this fucking paycheck and I need the cachet for my Instagram. Like it's so like thirsty.
Oh
And
yeah.
these kids are like, I really feel like they don't care.
It's awesome. I mean, it's a part of it is because they're independently wealthy, or they
Mhm.
are the children of very famous, successful people, which gives them like that's why Ariana is like she seems like she's happy to have this opportunity, but also she's really true to herself. And I don't think that like she needs this show to survive. Especially, Charlie is that same way. He definitely has that energy that you're talking about there, where he
Yeah.
doesn't give a shit about this show. So you're right. It is a completely different. I think type of I guess person that's being captured, whereas with Southern Hospitality, like you said, you sense the desperation deeply with all of those people because this is what they've been working at Republic all of their lives for, to get a little glimpse of the camera
Yeah.
for the most part. And the same with Vanderpump Rules. So yeah, it is refreshing. I wonder if that's just because they're all mostly inherently successful on their own and maybe don't give a shit about reality television for the most part.
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting, but I like it and prefer it. So we can keep our prayers alive. I mean, I'm not putting up any hopes for Vanderpump Rules because I think it's just a different type. Um, like, I guess the difference is that they're not actors. Like I feel like the model actors are like really aiming for entertainment value or something, and like being on a show and these people are like doing all kinds of different things that the show's just following them doing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I'm wondering, it's like, is it a part of it is that they have like they have careers sort of on Next Gen NYC,
Mhm.
even though I'm sure different generations would be like, yeah, crypto trader,
Right.
okay, Charlie. And then, but Georgia, I think that they care about their passions. They're passionate. Maybe New York City especially makes people have to dig into what they want to do because they know they have to fight and thrive in such a bustling city. And so I don't know, it feels different than people who are just desperately searching for reality television to fulfill all of their goals.
Right. Because, like, even Georgia, it's like obviously her having being famous on a show would help her, like, hospitality nightlife career. But she seems sort of oblivious. Like, she's kind of just doing it anyway and, like, throwing these weird parties that she's been doing. And, like, she's always just kind of like wandering around. Like, I, I don't feel like she's pandering at all.
Me neither. Georgia is so cool. She's like,
She's a nut.
she's awesome. I cannot believe that we get to watch this. I mean, that is like, she is sort of well, her and Charlie both are sort of the twin spirits of what makes Next Gen NYC unique. But then we get the added bonus of Riley and Ariana and everybody else who are all perfect. I was just thinking about the Vanderpump Rules reboot for a second. I think that they should have sort of a shrines or huge golden portraits of the original cast at SUR. That's something that Lisa should do. In every episode or so, the new cast members should go into this room where those big portraits or shrines are, and they sort of give homage, pay homage to the previous cast, and sort of I don't know. I just think
Yeah,
that
they
I don't
should
want
put
to.
Coins in that little fountain at the entryway every
Yeah,
time.
yeah, like something like, oh, this is what Jax would have done. So I'm going to pay tribute to this Jax god that I have molded here.
It's like one of those like Thai like memorial shrines where you leave like their favorite food, like you leave an apple for the past.
Totally, yeah. James's shrine. I don't. We'll see if he's gonna have a shrine, but
Fireball.
Little fireball shot for him. Hey, I'm praying to the patron saint of James to help me with my actions. That's the character or the cast member that I want to embody the most. Just all that to say is I realize now that I want the Vanderpump Rules reboot to be so referential to the past that they have embodiments of the old cast members there. I think that'll help me make the transition a little easier. Okay, let us talk now, please, of the actual episode. You and I are going to do sort of the highlights. Next Gen NYC is just so good that you don't need to talk about every little piece of it. It's just kind of some fun stray moments. It's more of just an overall energy, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it's never exactly the minutia of what has occurred, but yeah, the whole vibe, including Charlie. I don't know why. Maybe I'm getting used to it myself, but this is the first time I think we've seen drug paraphernalia on Bravo. He's just ripping a bong. Like,
it's awesome. At one point he blows a big plume of bong smoke all over the Jersey shore. And he goes, "Oh, sorry, George, I didn't mean to be ripping a big bong when you were talking about you and Omar being exclusive." It's so cool. Bravo seems to be letting, maybe some TV 14, maybe they're going to TV 19, and they're allowing drug references. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I guess if it's legal, that bridge would have to be crossed ultimately. Like, they were smoking weed the whole time on Vanderpump Rules, but it was kind of a weird medical marijuana bridge crossing, so maybe they didn't really want to show it, and it was like questionable
did
of
we
its
ever
legality.
did we ever get sort of a That 70s Show-esque scene where the entire cast sat around a big pillow and we're passing a joint and saying, "Let's get high and talk about what I forget what the cast
they showed them, but they did talk about getting their medical marijuana
yeah. And Katie was
cards.
eating gummies and
Yeah.
Stassi talked about drinking weed tea, but they didn't talk about it like very much. And now I think with obviously the cocaine talk, that was shattering. That shattered norms to hear them openly talking about
The
cocaine.
glass ceiling.
The glass ceiling has definitely been broken by
the mirrored ceiling.
The mirrored ceiling for sure. Coke talk broke that, and then getting Charlie just partaking in his daily weed activity. He's smoking joints, bongs. He had big piles of weed on his counter in his apartment. It's cool. It adds to that more documentary style environment or whatever for this show.
Because it's like, why not? But it's I can't come to mind a time that I've seen it before. So every time I appreciate it, I'm like, wow, like I really think this is a first.
Yeah, he's ripping a bong in this. Really quickly. So Riley is still upset. You very quickly. Riley is upset because everyone sort of said, "Hey, why'd you say that so bad? That you don't like that bowling alley club?" And then it's kind of divided. I understand where everyone's coming from. Riley's bummed out because she said something that was true, and everyone sort of egged her on to say what she was going to say. So Amira takes her side, saying Riley should be able to say whatever she wants. Brooks comforts her, and then Gia just says, "No, sorry, I love you. I want you to speak whenever you want, say whatever you want." I just thought that was a little harsh to Georgia, which is kind of like it obviously was. She said
Right.
that idea was pure shit. It takes Riley a little bit. I think it was what you were saying, where Riley feels a little younger, and maybe she's not I don't know, she was drunk, too drunk or something, and she was a little getting overly upset, but I feel like she kind of rebounds within like 30 minutes or an hour after this.
Yeah.
It's not something that they like talk about too long.
Yeah. When she was like trying not to cry, it reminded me of Candy, because I feel like whenever Candy would get super upset or like angry or emotional, she would always cry and would like try not to cry. And I was like, I feel like they're similar in that sense, that they just get overwhelmed. But then as they're getting through this, they have like the birds like seagull attack that kind of takes the wind out of the room, and they're like joking, and it's kind of over.
Yeah, no, yeah, and they don't really care. It's not a conventional scene where they feel like they have to get some job done. All of a sudden these seagulls are diving for their pancakes, and they know they have to get out of there immediately. There's
Yeah.
some fun, random moments. Obviously Charlie does do a big, does that big bong rip with Georgia. She says that they're exclusive, Georgia and Omar, and then they sort of, they pack up, pretty quickly to leave back to New York City.
Yeah. They also reveal that Charlie dated Lindsay Lohan, which is exciting.
I know, yeah, I saw. I think there was one glimpse. There was one glimpse of that because I've seen that photo before, but I didn't know he doesn't talk about it at all. I don't think. Maybe in one of the the first episode or something. But she goes, "You weren't in love with Lindsay Lohan," and he just takes a huge rip of a bong and doesn't even give an answer to that.
Yeah. I was recently ended up in a little bit of a, what do you call, like a internet K-hole of I found out that the guy that Alex Cooper of Call Her Daddy is married to used to date Ashley Olsen. And I was like, there's like such a trail of these like teeny bopper icons exes that are probably just scattered all over the
The
place.
winds, yeah, and you never would even know. Yeah, I think Charlie said Lindsay used to pick him up in like her BMW and beep outside of his high school and say, "Charlie, hop in." But I don't know.
It'll be fully loaded.
I wonder. I don't know if now that talk, if we're talking about this, I don't know how it happened or why or how they got on each other's radar.
I wanted more info for sure. He kind of breezed over it and was like, that doesn't count. But they showed a photo.
Do you think he's excited for Freakier Friday?
Oh, definitely. He's going to buy his ticket day one.
I think so too. I mean, you have to see the sequel to that.
Okay, then there's like an undercurrent storyline that comes to fruition later, where Meredith keeps texting Brooks, being like, "Get me the rendering stat. We need to go to market." And like he's stressed about working for her brand and his brand. And so at one point that we will get to, they have a conversation about merging the brands. He's like, "We'll do a merger and acquisition." I was like, I don't think your business is like big enough that you need to do it under those terms.
Right, for sure. But it probably is well in line, or probably maybe one of the bigger brands of Meredith's enterprise. I would think. Yeah. I didn't know. I didn't remember that Brooks is sort of the muse for his mom, and he's kind of got his hands in every single business that Meredith. I mean, even saying how many businesses Meredith has, I would have no fucking clue, except that I knew she had one shop, a business in Salt Lake City, but I didn't really know all this stuff. I guess she sold bath.
The
stuff.
caviar, the candles, the clothes.
Yeah, but Brooks is the secret, he's the designer behind all of this stuff, and then his brand is getting so big that there's sort of this
He does like one item a year.
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, if he wants to make Brooks Marks more of a thing, he's deciding whether or not he wants to put that under her umbrella. And both Chloe and Seth, we later learn, say, no, Brooks, you need to spread your wings. You shouldn't be under Meredith's brand. But even these texts, like, come on, send me the deck for the skincare line. I was like, damn, like Meredith is using Brooks for everything, for all the creativity for her various
Yeah.
brands, which I didn't know about.
I wonder if he's salaried. I want to know the details on that.
Yes, me too.
Okay, so then they're all driving back from New Jersey in cars, and then at one point, uh, some of them stop for snacks, and Georgia and Charlie are so pissed that everyone's taking so long to buy snacks that they order a separate car. She's like, I'm gonna call Omar and see if he'll get us another car. And she's like, he said he's down. And so then they get out, and I'm like, that's like hundreds of dollars. Like, you're literally in a car.
I know. Brooks was just squeezing some cheese on his nachos and he was going to be back in 5 minutes. And they're ready to go when Charlie and Georgia get in their car. Maybe, possibly, there's a lot of drop-offs they need to make and they just wanted to bullet right to home. But either way, everyone makes fun of them to no end. It felt very real, like not like I hate these cast members, except Amira does.
Yeah.
But everyone else was just like, wow, look at those privileged pieces of shit talking about how they're not privileged, getting their own car when we're all going to the same place. Like they really let them have it.
Yeah, they're like, that dirty bitch has been wearing that bikini for like 2 days.
Yeah. I wanted to give Brooks credit for getting the nachos at a gas station.
Yeah, bold move.
I've never had, I've never, I don't think I've ever touched nachos from a gas station in my life or even seen them.
They're so like out of touch that it was so novel for them to go in. Later when they're at the bowling alley, there's a vending machine and they're like, should we get like $100 of tokens for the vending machine? I was like, $100? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I guess I guess you're right. They were treating it like Brooks has never seen these things before. But
It's like I feel like you probably missed this because it didn't add up to your lifestyle at the time, but on The Simple Life, when Paris and Nicole would just spend shit tons of money at the farm supply store because they just like were obsessed with shopping and they would just buy anything. They just like wanted to buy shit.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. I wish I could do that kind of stuff. I just want to buy a bunch of stuff. Amira is so pissed at Georgia still for the Red Robin controversy.
Yeah.
So Amira says, is talking shit. And then Amira says, guess what? I don't know what's going on with that bowling alley thing. Apparently Omar is going to pay for it, but I think he's a scammer. And then everyone goes, where did you hear that? And she goes, just Google his name. And she says that multiple times. Google Omar, crypto man, and look at the scandal or, scams that he's run in the past. So that's kind of the first little pop-up of that information.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, just Google it and then see if you still think he's going to give her $1 million. So that's like brewing in the background. Also, she's also giving Ava shit for like the level of truth about whether or not she could have just come to the birthday weekend. Like she's like, I got the invite. Like it's a pop-up. Like I don't know why you felt so obligated to go to that shit. Like I didn't go.
That's kind of the two distinct poles of the drama of this show. And I'm more favorable to the stuff that just happens organically, like Charlie and Georgia saying, we need a ride right now. Omar, buy us one because I don't want to sit in the car anymore with these cast members. And then you get the real reactions of how I would feel if two people I was on a trip with just hopped into another car and didn't want to be with us for the rest of the trip. They thought they were better than me. Yeah. And then there's the other end, which is Amira and Ava and people are trying to get Brooks to sort of go in this different direction of make things bigger than they need to be about certain things like that. And I feel like they do a good job of giving both equal weight, and I'm fine with both, but I prefer more of just what happens, very naturally on the other end of that spectrum.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so then we get the Seth and Meredith and Brooks thing where he basically does a Shark Tank and says, I am seeking $100,000 for 8% of my brand. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, we thought you were just going to like, I don't know, like partner or whatever. But then they're like, okay, fine. They don't ask any questions.
No, it's like, well, first of all, I mean, Brooks is killing it. This is one of the best presentations I've ever seen. He keeps going, it says like
You liked that reveal
yeah,
strategy.
yes, of course. Oh my God. It said terry cloth, and then he pulled that thing down and it said terry cloth light. And I was like, oh my God, this shit would be blowing my mind. And Seth goes, "You're supposed to give us champagne." And then he pours the champagne for them. And I thought that was sweet. And then Meredith doesn't know at this point that Brooks is going to be its own enterprise apart from her. And then halfway through his pitch, she goes, "Wait, what about our merger?" And then he goes, "I'll talk to you after, Mom." And then Seth chooses, "Yes, I'd like to invest. This is perfect." And then
We'll give you 100 grand, fine.
yes. And then the end was really, I thought, a very sweet scene of a very interesting dynamic, one that I'm not privy to all the time, which is the Brooks and Meredith's very I mean, they are,
Codependent.
codependent is one way to put it. But I mean, there's just so much love for each other. And Meredith and Brooks are both crying about what this means that he will be striking out on his own. And you could tell that he's like, "I don't know what our relationship is like if I'm not a part of your business." It feels real. It feels sweet. And I loved Meredith throughout this scene too. And what I was thinking is that it kind of made these scenes with Meredith actually make me like her a lot more. And I see much more of her personality on this show because I feel like on Salt Lake City, she doesn't give a fuck about that show and she hates all of her cast members. She feels like she is permanently, she feels like she's tormented on Salt Lake City, especially the last 2 seasons. I feel like she's like fed up and she hates it. She doesn't live there. She doesn't like these people. Like that is so just like a clock in, clock out job. And this is actually truly what she cares about. Her relationship
Yeah.
with her kids, Brooks. I see more of Seth in this dynamic, and it's actually making me appreciate Meredith a lot more than I ever did on Salt Lake City.
Yeah. It's just funny when like I feel like 9 times out of 10, the housewives that have businesses are just completely, the business survives in and of the guise that they are a housewife. Like her products are, you know, I'm just, I'm never that impressed. And there's a certain faction that like break out, like say Bethany, of course, is the icon of actually being good at business, and like she used the housewives to like make it a real like skyrocketing business. And then you find out that like Crystal Minkoff has like this like huge coconut water line in the background that's worth a shit ton of money. And like, but for the most part, it's like Sutton, it's like Meredith, it's the Grand Dom's weird candles.
Yeah.
It's like a Whitney Rose's weird. Like it's always like this weird little business that never goes anywhere. And if they weren't on the show, it would just implode. Like they're just like housewives with businesses. And I think Meredith is one of those. And it's like the fact that her son like runs it completely, I think is evidence of that, because it's like, why don't you just like have a real like company? I mean, I think that maybe the caviar actually does do well. I'm not sure, but
I agree with you too. And a huge issue is that they have so many to where you're telling me Meredith has, I remember the caviar line, but I'm sure she has 7 other businesses that I would have no fucking clue what the hell she's talking about. And it's just kind of grasping at straws to see what you can propel during your time on these shows to just make money. And it really shows that the brand, this doesn't mean anything to you except a money-making enterprise. Whereas with Bethany, I mean, she put her whole heart and soul into that one specific brand for a really long time, and until she started branching out. But yeah, I mean, it's a thing where it's like I don't enjoy 95% of the dips into businesses that we have to deal with on any of these shows. For me, it was just remarkable now that I think that it led to this scene between Brooks and Meredith, which is emblematic of their very, very close, relationship that we got to see here.
Totally. Oh, I got excited for this next part. Charlie met Omar in Chinatown, and I was like, this is looking real familiar. And I did a little cross check, and the place that they go is next door to the former place that Luann goes on that creepy date with that awesome guy.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
The Scary Island episode.
Oh my God. I forget that guy's name. I close my eyes. I see him
Yeah.
instantly in my mind, I know that guy. I forget his name, but yes, they go to a sort of, I don't even want to say it, but it's sort, I know exactly what kind of bar you're talking about. I can't believe that was right next door to this one of all places.
Yeah, because it's I think it's called Doyers Street, and it's what remember he's like explaining it to Luann. He's like, they called this the bloody angle, and like all the deals went down over here or whatever. And I was like, I swear to God. I mean, I know that that's just like a generalized it's a small area, but I looked it up and I was like, because at first I was like, is that literally the same place? And it's right next door, like
That is
the next
amazing.
address over.
You and you go to New York City so much more than me. I go like once every 3 years or 4 years, but now I'm like, whoa, if you know that a restaurant or a bar is right next to another bar, you're really getting a grasp of New York City. And I vicariously am getting a look at New York City through you.
Well, it had the same vibe, like
Oh, totally.
inside, and I think the place they went was called like Peaches or something like that, which I looked and is already closed. So both places don't exist anymore at all. But at first you think that it's going to be Omar being like, "How dare you talk to my woman like that?" But almost immediately they just bond over crypto.
Yes. It's a very well, Omar does a very good job. He stands up for Georgia. He says why that was horrible. And I think Charlie respects Omar enough to give him a full apology. He says, I felt so disrespected, but you're right. I should never say things like that again. And they both just get over it very quickly. And then it devolves into crypto talk. If I was starting crypto now, Charlie, and I was doing a different thing, I would VC the shit out of a certain type of contrarian crypto club. And Charlie goes, oh my God, you just gave me the best advice I've ever had in my life.
He goes, Charlie, you have backbone, and I like that. So we should be in business together. And Charlie says that he does understand crypto degenerates better than even the average finance guy. So he's perfect. And they're seemingly going to work together soon. And I think I saw on like Queens of Bravo or somewhere that they're still hanging out even post, as we find out that they break up by the end of this episode. So
yeah, Georgia and Omar.
Charlie remains friends with him. So that will be, I assume, ongoing drama if everyone's still on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, crypto is like, I don't know. I'm like, I think it's got to end pretty soon. I'm worried about what it is.
I
and what
offloaded all my apes.
You did? When? Right before we started recording?
I got a tip.
Really? Okay. Well, I need to
from
offload.
Omar.
I need to offload some stuff too. But I'm worried. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I guess people will be like, yeah, money is fake too. So why can't crypto be fake? But whoa, like there's some crazy shit going on in crypto. I don't know what the hell
I
is
have
going on.
my Jan 6 coin. I might keep that one, but I got rid of my apes.
Okay, well, hold on to that one because we don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, I got a little peek into crypto when I read that Michael Lewis book, Going Infinite. And
should I listen to that?
yes. Oh my God, it is amazing. You get the social network-esque startup shit with a genius person who has first of all, effective altruism is the most interesting thing I learned about. That's where you make enough money in life, you use your genius to just rack up as much money as you can just so you could all give it away. First of all, I didn't even know about that concept at all. There's an active contingent of people that are just harnessing cash as much as they can in our system to just give it out to the world. That was already
Robin Hood.
Total Robin Hood. And then you get the crypto part of it. It's like a game. It's like a puzzle or a game, and it's all completely fake.
Yeah.
So then Sam Bankman-Fried, it ends up, I don't know. Once you read it, just let me know what you think because it's amazing. And you really, through Michael Lewis's eyes, who doesn't know shit about crypto and effective altruism, you learn all of these things. And I would like to know what you feel after reading it and what you think about crypto.
I listened to him on a podcast and I liked him. Like I was like, he seems like a cool guy. And then he was saying that the next thing currently that we should be worried about is sports gambling and that teenagers across the board are completely addicted to sports gambling.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh my God, it's awful. Oh my God, they're going to uncover so much disastrous, horrible fucking effects from this current internet age. Oh, I forgot to say one Eddington thing that I forgot to say, which kind of ties in, is that one of the major morals of the story, not to spoil it, is just how the internet actively makes us all insane.
Yeah.
And the entire time I just kept thinking about the people that are commenting on Janet's Instagram saying, I really hope that you die, you deserve. And I was just like, yes, like the whatever fosters that type of behavior, the internet is 90% responsible for in
Yeah.
some way. And that's really a huge aspect of Eddington.
Mark Zuckerberg ruined the earth.
Yeah, and there's nothing we can do. It's a completely unfettered, and then AI is an extra bonus aspect of
Yeah.
it. I mean, we're gonna get to a point, you and I, where you and I are gonna have to go off the grid with our families and just do turtle
Do a
time.
radio show.
Do turtle time in the woods. People can access it by doing a certain dial, but I'm pretty close to just completely tapping out of the internet because I realize over my entire life, it does not provide me with any joy.
Yeah.
It's actively hinders joy most of the time.
In
So
the new Superman movie, in there's this like realm that's like a, I forget what you call it, like it's like in a black hole, and it's like evil, and there's a like a million monkeys doing hate comments online, and I'm like, that's James Gunn getting back at getting canceled online.
holy shit. Oh my God. I'm going to watch it just for that, just to get James Gunn's twisted peek at monkeys doing hate comments. Yeah. So Omar and Charlie completely bond over being crypto boys. They go, you got to get a harness on this. God, what? I can't even think of one coin. Ethereum. You got to get some Ethereum. Okay. Then we go to the bowling alley. And I got to say, I was so happy for Georgia last week. You were properly calibrated. You go, what the hell is this? Georgia blew it bigger than I've ever seen anything blown in my life. It was horrible.
Like if I went to any bowling alley in America and was like, can I rent it?
I say this all the time, but give you and I 6 hours. We would have put like some dunk tank in the middle. I would have had I would have had 3 things that would have made the bowling experience a little more fun than whatever the hell she did here. It was really a bad embodiment of this thing that she wanted to show off to investors.
Where's the concept?
I don't know. I mean, and I know she had to use a pre-existing structure, and bowling alleys are inherently not cool, but I feel like she should have done such a better job of dressing that thing up to make it seem like what she was actually going for. She gets like I mean, no one likes this. It's 0. She gets a 1 out of 10, I would say. Everyone says, I'll never come back. This sucks. Charlie doesn't like it. It was, unless she was artificially pressured to get this done by the finale, but there's really no excuse. Yeah. Even with, I'm saying 1 week, I feel like you and I could have made a better bowling experience than what Georgia pulled off here.
Also, like, she's essentially pitching like, what's that fancy bowling that they have at Hollywood and Highland, like X Lanes or whatever.
I've been there. It's awesome.
I'm like, that exists.
Yeah, and it's not X Lanes is fun. It's really fun, and it is exactly what she wants, but she wanted more of a like hip version of that. And there's so many ways that she could have gone in the hip direction. But Georgia, you blew it. That was bad. And the investor that he brings goes, what the hell? He could barely even pretend that handshake deal was going to get investment into this thing.
Have you been to the one at the Roosevelt, the spare room?
No.
It's like a cool, dark bar that has like 2 or 3 vintage lanes.
Yeah.
And that's what she's talking about, I think.
Okay, really? Okay.
Well, I mean, that's like the only bowling place I can think of that's actually considered cool, like exclusive, and like sort of like you could go there whether you're bowling or not,
Yeah. I don't really like bowling at all, so it's hard for me to even. I respected Georgia's original idea, but I don't personally like bowling, so I don't know how I would make it cool. It's just like not that fun to me. But the Roosevelt version sounds cool to me, like in a library setting with old cool stuff, and you can buy like whiskey, and then there's these vintage lanes. It looks like There'll Be Blood, when Daniel Plainview starts bowling.
Yeah.
But but I just expected more. Georgia, what happened here? And then remember, Omar brings one friend. Of course, you remember. Omar brings one friend, and that guy goes, tell me your vision because I can't really see it here. Silhouettes of people dancing, and then you got the cafeteria food. And she goes, so you're saying you want to invest? And it's completely fake. It's almost like Georgia knows that this is fake, and this guy is never investing.
Yeah.
This whole thing kind of, fizzled in a way that was funny. And they, again, sort of to the entire ethos of this thing, they all sort of bury the hatchet in different ways. Everyone who sees each other immediately has resolution with the other cast member.
Yeah.
Brooks with Ava.
Yeah. They also introduce just through like a lower third that Ava has a new guy she's dating whose name is Hook. And it looks like he's like a boxer or something. So I'm like, maybe he would be on next season if they're still together.
Oh my God. You and I are recapping Next Gen season 2, and there's a person named Hook on it. I cannot wait. That is like perfect Next Gen NYC stuff. And then, okay, so then it does, it kind of just is like, whoa, this doesn't feel like a finale party. It has the opposite of the Valley where no one's trying to get some last huge thing in. They're just having fun. They go, that bowling alley was kind of shitty. I didn't like it at all. And then what they do at the end, if you're ready to move forward, is instead of in credits like we already talked about, it sounds like they picked up filming for major moments throughout the fall and winter, and they were able to keep us connected to what was going on in the off season in a way that felt very cool, and for other franchises to emulate. It doesn't have to be so set in stone like we're locking in for a pickup shoot for 2 weeks to get to the Mauricio Kyle divorce. It was more like, let's just check in, and whatever happens in your life that you think is worth either documenting by phone or by the crew will come by.
Yeah.
I really, I don't know. It felt like an inventive way to like keep track of people in the off season and keep us in their lives.
Yeah. So like for the fall flash forward, Georgia's like, me and Omar moved in, like it's going great. Charlie and Omar are like in business together. And then it keeps going because Omar mentioned to Charlie earlier when they got together that him and Georgia were going to go on this like world trip all around in the winter. And then apparently they break up on the trip in Singapore, and he just like leaves without her, and then sends all of her shit in boxes to Charlie's house. And so she just goes, she finds her way back and then stays with him. So they're apparently roommates now.
It is such rich people shit. It's like, we're on a trip, an international trip. I'm mad at you, so let's split up completely, and I'll go on a different flight.
Up your shit.
And I'll do a moving thing so that I can get all your shit. It's like, God damn, like this could only happen with a certain type of wealthy people who could make something like this even happen. I can't wait to find out what Omar or Georgia did to ruin their relationship completely on that international trip.
Also, when Amira kept saying Google him, I didn't, because I kind of just want to like let it flow upon me. But I do kind of want to look up the TikTok that Georgia posted about getting broken up with, because they showed a little clip and I was like, I need to go watch that whole thing.
Me too. I'm going to start following Georgia. I want her updates on what's going on. I mean, no offense to anyone, but like crypto and scam might as well just be synonymous terms. I mean, I'm sure it's like the fourth word that comes up whenever you Google anything regarding crypto. No offense to big crypto heads, but like it doesn't boggle my mind at all that Omar had some scam activity in his past. I mean, it's all completely fake.
If we do have crypto cuties, maybe we should start a crypto tier where they can like pay in crypto, but like they have to pay more.
$4.50 plus 50 cents in the equivalent Ethereum coin. And then maybe you and I get to really get a huge whiff of crypto with that one. What else? Oh, Ariana is a pretty amazing cast member. She goes, I am in New York and I am loving it. My dog takes a shit in the street. I clean it up now. I don't leave it just there.
She's like the heart of the show, I would say. Like she's the reason we are landing in New York. She's a first timer, so we're kind of seeing it through her eyes, getting acclimated.
Totally. She's in a way the audience surrogate, introducing us to New York City as a 20-year-old. Love it. I mean, everything about it was amazing. As it ends, I'm so proud of all of them, and I'm so proud that there was restraint here. and how they dealt with this show and what they ended up doing with it. It really, like the Valley trailer that came out where Jax was putting on gloves and saying, "Bye, honey, I gotta go ride on a lawnmower." That set me up with pure shit expectations. Next Gen NYC also had the worst first impression. It's a horrible title. It's Nepo babies. I didn't think it could ever possibly be good. And it is by far exceeded every expectation I had. It was amazing. So much fun.
We kept seeing the paparazzi stuff of like Gia and Brooks are filming in New York. And I was like, I don't give a fuck.
I said, I don't give a fuck. Just like you. I go, I don't give a fuck. I go, is anybody else going to be
Get
on
out
it?
of my face.
Go, Gia and Brooks are doing what? I don't give a fuck. And then now I'm like, oh my God, I love this cast. I love it. I love every single one. I love the divide in the cast. I love the Bravo cast members. I love the new cast members. They're all killing it. Can't wait for season 2. I mean, nothing else to say. I mean,
Yeah.
A rave.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys thought, because like you said, everyone that commented that started watching it during our discussions was like, actually, yeah, it is good. So I haven't really talked to anyone that hasn't enjoyed it.
If I would love to hear someone be like, wait, I hate it. I hate everything about it. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I'd be interested just to hear that, because I couldn't imagine a world where someone just is, especially because I think in the Bravo universe, it's pretty good, compared to other stuff that we're currently watching. So
I know. I think just like a lot of the housewives are just a little bit stale at this point. Like it's a little bit sloggy between Atlanta, Miami. Orange County's just getting started, but it's all just feeling a little fatigued.
Do you think
format-wise?
Do you think every franchise should have like sort of we'll go after this, but like, should there be like a B tier franchise brewing in every city or adjacent city that's like maybe a Peacock exclusive or something that kind of like is this breeding ground, for lack of a better word, for talent, and they sort of make do on there, and then like they can go back and forth. If they get to the holy grail of being on OC, that's great, but they also can exist on this other show. Because like, I'm like, I don't want Next Gen NYC to be poached by Roni, but if you have two competing shows where everyone is amazing on one show and the same talent, there's nobody good on Roni. I'm like, maybe there should always be concurrent shows operating in every city, and then it kind of keeps everybody on their toes. You get to poach talent. If they're good, you get to downgrade people onto the other one. I mean, I know it's like a very complicated thing, but it's...
Yeah, now I'm like, should we be watching McBee Dynasty? Just like, what if that's amazing?
I don't know 1 second of it, anything about it. I barely watched it, but I would imagine maybe it might be great.
Why the fuck not?
Well, maybe. I mean, we might need to once these two shows have ended. But anyway, well, let's just say, full congratulations, the Amy and Riley full stamp of approval on Next Gen NYC. Hats off. I'll take my hat. Valley. We've got some notes. I have a lot of notes on the Valley. I think that was sort of a struggling season in a way, but regardless, we got Next Gen NYC. That's great. Amy and I are going to leave you all now. We have to go. We are going to
long ass episode.
Very long episode. We have to go. Please review us if you feel inclined. It's so nice when I go on Apple Podcasts and somebody goes, I haven't reviewed ever because I don't like to ever leave reviews, but I'm going to leave one now because you beg for it. And I think that's sweet.
Are we at someone we only need 3 more to reach 500. So if you do it this time, you might be lucky 500. We'll shout you out. We'll shout out whoever 500 is when we get it. We'll say your name.
That's a great one. Put a great name for 500. If you're the 500th review, put a great name, your name, or whatever you want shouted out. And not if it's mean.
It's like Turtle Time Sucks Ass at AOL.
Not if it's mean. But yes, that is a great competition. 500, we read your name. You're the 500th review. That's amazing. Patreon, $5 a month. Amy and I are doing work that will be studied by historians for years. It's the full canon of Vanderpump Rules. Actively, we are writing the history of Vanderpump Rules on Patreon by recapping season 7 currently. And it's informed by all of our discussions and everything that's coming in, in the modern times, like Sheena and stuff, what she's providing for us. So I think it's a very fun universe over there, and we love our Villa Rosa VIPs so much. We appreciate you all. Thank you.
Yes. And if not this week, then next week, I am pretty sure I will have listened to Sheena Shea's book in full. So at some point, we will be talking about that. So join us next time.
I can't wait. All right. Goodbye, everyone.